This Japanese style milk bread with a light, fluffy, tender crumb is so delightful to eat that you will get obsessed with it. It is the perfect everyday bread loaf recipe from sandwiches to French toast. It is the one recipe that you need to try now. To prepare the roux, we will start by adding the flour onto a saucepan along with some water and milk. Mix this up until the flour is all dissolved without any lumps. You might have seen and used this technique for thickening gravies or sauces, especially while making a pasta sauce. Yummy, right? So the technique is known as Tangzhong or Tangzhong. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. If not, let me know about it in the comments below. So now why do we need to make a roux in this bread recipe? Well, by making a roux, we are introducing more hydration in the dough. That is, the flour and water, and milk also in this case, locks the water content. Now, what does that do? Of course, it hydrates the dough, which means it creates steam while baking, which makes more air bubbles. The air pockets gives the bread rise, makes it a fluffier baked product. So that was the scientific part or science behind why do we have to make a roux for this particular recipe. Coming back to the actual recipe, once the flour is dissolved in the milk and water, creating no lumps, then switch on your gas and start mixing it, stirring it continuously until everything thickens and the starch in the flour gelatinizes. In simple words, once the flour is cooked and thickened, take it off the flame. We need to make sure that the roux is cooled enough before proceeding. A trick for that is to add the rest of the cold milk here. That way the temperature would reduce down faster. Now it's quite logical here, right? If we had the hot roux to rest of the ingredients, the yeast would definitely get killed, right? So wait until the roux cools down a bit before proceeding. Of course, I am not the one who came up with this recipe. I have adapted this recipe from different blogs and different websites, researched a lot upon the terms, the science behind it, and all those things. So everything in detail I'll be mentioning in my blog. You can check it out from there. For now, let us set this roux to cool a bit, and in the meanwhile, in the bowl of your stand mixer, add in rest of the ingredients, which includes flour followed by salt. Give it a quick mix and add in the yeast followed by sugar and milk powder. Now I understand that there is a shortage of yeast all around, so I'm going to start my very own sourdough culture this Saturday. I'll be doing a live on Instagram. You guys can join and bake along if you like. Now before adding the roux to rest of the ingredients, make sure that it is cooled enough. If you want, you can wait for a few more minutes, say around 5 to 10 minutes until it is cooled down a bit. Do not add it hot or else the yeast would be killed and the dough won't rise. So along with the roux, we will also crack open an egg, then simply place it onto your stand mixer with the dough attachment and let everything combine into a dough for 2 minutes, after which you can start feeding the dough with some butter little at a time until it is well combined and knead it for 8 minutes on high speed. If you are new to our channel, then please do consider subscribing as I post new videos every single week on baking and dessert related recipes, and I would love to have you on board. So after 2 minutes, start adding your butter, and once everything is added, start counting for 8 minutes and then switch off your stand mixer. You can of course knead everything by hand as well. I have shared how to knead a dough in several videos using your hands, so please do refer that. I will link it up here or in the description box below for you guys to check out. So after 8 minutes of kneading, when you lift up the hook, you will find that a blob of dough is still sticking to the base of your bowl, and that's exactly how the consistency of your dough should be. Tip it off onto your worktop and I'll show you how it is in a clear manner. So now when you move the dough around, you can clearly see that it is still sticking to the worktop, and that's exactly how it should be. It shouldn't be super smooth. This shows that the dough is well hydrated and is moist. So we will add some flour onto the base so that it is easier to work. There's nothing you need to do. You just have to shape it into a ball. I mean, that's also again a personal choice. I always like to give smoothen the top before allowing it for first proofing. That's totally my way of doing it, you can say, but I like it. So you can also try and give the dough a ball shape and then allow it for first proofing. Grease the bowl with some oil, place your dough inside it, and dab the top of the bread with the leftover oil from your hand so that the dough doesn't dry out. If you're going to proof it on the countertop, then cling wrap it or cover it with a tea towel and let it sit as it is on the countertop for 1 hour. You know by now that I like to proof my dough in my instant pot as it cuts down the time. So I'm going to proof it in my instant pot, choose the yogurt mode, and the time would be 30 minutes. Now this dough won't necessarily double in volume, but of course there will be yeast activity in it. So once proofed, tip it off onto your countertop, press it down to remove the air bubbles, and then start dividing into three. So you can go and do the eyeball method, but I like to go by weighing and be precise. So it comes to around 200 to 201 grams for each individual dough. Once divided, take each ball and try to tuck the sides beneath to form a smoother top and a messier bottom, you can say that way. So just giving it a somewhat round shape, and we will allow it to intermediate proof for 10 minutes so that the gluten has some time to rest in between. Look, such a enriched dough it is, right? You will get a beautiful baked bread with this particular dough. A must try, guys. So while that is resting for intermediate proofing, let's prepare our cake pan. Sorry, I mean bread pan. So the pan that I'm using here is 9 by 5 inches in dimensions. We will grease it with some butter and keep it ready. After about 10 to 15 minutes, take each dough and then roll and shape as shown in the video. Rather than me explaining, I think it would be easier to watch and understand. Remember to secure the edges tightly and then roll it once more and place it into the greased pan and allow it to proof, that is second proofing, which would be around 1 to 1.5 hours depending upon the weather, the climatic conditions in the place where you live. What you are looking for is the bread roll should have doubled in size and reached till the brim, almost to the brim of the pan. So either cover it with a cling wrap or with a tea towel and allow it for second proofing. Now this is an optional step, I'll tell you why. Brush the top with some milk or egg, whatever way you can. But I think this is a mistake that I did and I won't repeat it going forward. But as of now, just go ahead and bake it in a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for around 30 minutes until the top is nice golden brown in color and the bottom sounds hollow. Once baked, brush the top of your bread while it is still warm with some butter so that it softens the crumb or the crust, sorry. and then allow it to cool in the pan itself for 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes. Then invert it onto a wire rack and allow to cool completely. As it is an enriched dough, I don't think it needed that extra brushing on top with some milk. That added to the browning of our crust, which I do not like personally, and I would prefer a softer golden brown color. So next time I won't brush it on top. If it had been a regular day, I would have definitely made another loaf and shared with you guys. But we all know there is a scarcity of yeast, and even I am running short of it. So I had to go ahead with this particular video footage and share it with you all. And that's how gorgeously beautiful, soft, and tender this bread is. Just look at the texture from within. It is so soft. I mean, I cannot stress how tender it is. You guys are going to be obsessed with this bread. Isn't it a light, fluffy, and soft bread? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and do not forget to check out our Instagram profile for live video on making your own sourdough culture at home in your kitchen. Find the link in the description box and remember to turn on the notification to get updates. I'll see you soon on my Instagram page or in my next video. Until then, this is Sushma signing off. Take care. Bye bye.